Hand planes are the epitome of fine woodworking. Extreme woodworkers use them, and serious collectors collect them. Planes come in a wide variety of sizes, styles, and designs for specific woodworking purposes. Planes range in prices from about $25 for a new economical model to planes that cost several $100s. Although there are several styles, the four basic planes include block plane, jack plane, fore plane, and smoothing plane. Block planes are fairly small, usually around 6 inches in length. They are designed to be used with one hand and quite often used for in-grain work, cutting chamfers on edges, and working out other small areas. They do not produce as smooth a surface on a larger stock. A bullnose block plane has the blade at the front end and can be used for smoothing in tight places or up against another surface. Jack planes normally run from 14 to 16 inches in length. They can be used for almost any purpose, making them a good all-around choice for a single plane owner. The longest plane are the fore planes or trying planes. These run from 18 to 24 inches and are also sometimes called joiner planes. As you can guess, one of the main uses is for planing the edges of edge joining. With their long sole or bases, they can take the place of a powered joiner. The long soles also make them good for rough shaping or dimensioning or leveling stock. Smoothing planes are also sometimes called bench planes. They range from 9 to 10 inches in length, and their primary use is to provide a final smooth surface. Used properly, they can actually provide a smoother surface than sanding. A number of specialty planes are also available for shaping. One of the traditional old-time planes is the Stanley molding plane. It accepts blades of different shapes and is used to create molding on edges. Although these are no longer being made, the old Stanley planes are still around if you can find them, but the cost is high. A router plane has a footed blade that allows it to be used to route grooves or dados. The rabbet or shoulder plane is used to cut rabbets or shoulders. A chamfer plane has an L shape with a blade centered to cut chamfers on edges. Hollow and rounding planes are also used to either cut concave or convex surfaces. A circular plane has a flexible steel sole and is used for planing concave surfaces such as chair bottoms. A plow or tongue and groove plane has an adjustable blade guide allowing you to cut dados and rabbets for tongue and groove joints. The first step is to ensure that the blade is sharp and set at the correct angle. Unless the blade has been badly mistreated, honing is usually all that's needed. A blade can be hand-honed using a good bench stone. Depending on the construction and style of the plane, some have a number of controls. Most wooden planes only have a wooden wedge to hold the blade in place. The blade angle is not changeable. The blade is positioned for the depth of the cut and the wedge tapped into place to hold the blade. Metal blades have turn screws for adjusting the depth of the cut. The amount of wood to be removed with each stroke is important. A blade set to cut too deep may take off a lot of wood, but it also requires a lot of force. When it's set too shallow, very little material is removed, requiring more strokes. Many metal cap planes also have a curling iron, sometimes called an iron cap, that is held to the blade with a screw. The curling iron not only stiffens the blade, but also causes the shavings to curl up and out rather than clogging the mouth of the plane. Position the curling iron so it leaves about 1/16 of an inch or less of the blade exposed, and fasten the blade and iron together. Position the blade and iron assembly in the plane body and adjust the depth with a turn screw. One method for adjusting the depth is to place a piece of thin cardboard or stiff paper on a flat, smooth surface and under the plane. Adjust the plane blade so it just barely touches the smooth surface. This will cut a shaving approximately the thickness of the paper. Once the depth has been adjusted, make sure the blade is locked square in the housing. The blade must be absolutely parallel with the front edge of the mouth. Some craftsmen like to slightly round the corners of the blade so the corners don't dig in too. Now on to planing techniques. If at all possible, always plane with the grain of the wood or with the grain slanting in the direction of the stroke. Make a test cut. If the plane digs in or chatters and is set to the correct depth, you are planing against the grain. Make your first few strokes at an oblique angle across the wood surface. This creates a shearing cut and is much faster and easier to do than a cut made parallel to the wood surface. After roughing or leveling, make sure your final cuts parallel the direction of the stroke. Begin your stroke with the blade off the end of the surface and with downward pressure applied to the front knob or handle. Once the entire plane is situated on the work, apply equal pressure to the back and front knobs or handles. As the plane reaches the opposite end, apply more pressure to the back handle. This prevents an arched edge caused by the plane rocking up at the beginning and down at the end of the stroke. When planing end grain, hold the plane at an angle to provide a shear cut. This is essential for cutting across the grain. To smooth a wide board, begin with the jack or foreplane and dimension the board to suit. Then use the smoothing plane to create the final glass smooth surface. Maintain your planes in good shape by occasionally using light oil application to the bed and adjustments. Use steel wool if necessary to keep the bottom of the bed rust-free. A bit of boiled linseed oil can be used to keep old-time wooden planes in good shape. Enjoy your woodworking, and thanks for watching.